guilty without her knowing, and listen to this, was headed.
She didn't want to give up her Park Avenue lifestyle.
Drove him to prison, right?
She knew he had a few mistresses on the side. And then for quite a while, she didn't want to give up her Park Avenue lifestyle, but it came crashing down.
I went out to investigate, thinking it was perhaps one of the children, and I found him.
He finally admitted to her his doings.
He told me that he'd been told that he needed to go to prison that morning.
Been knocking people to the figure of $12 million at least.
It happened and he was going.
Yeah, so he'd been
He was a con man.
And you didn't even know it.
I did know.
She didn't even know
it.
Okay, so when is he tying the hangman's knot? When was he doing that?
He was tying the hangman's knot.
He was going to hang himself?
And it was a pretend attempt. It was to
pretend attempt.
And I pulled him away from.
Well, I pulled him away.
And ushered him into a cold shower. And summoned the strength
Thought
to
it was
get ready to drive
unconscionable.
to prison. So we arrived.
Said, get the strength you need, man,
officer,
go to
and the
prison.
prison officer patted him down in front of me, which must have been
Patted down in front of me.
mortifying for me to see.
Must have been humiliating for him and was mortifying for
and I
me.
watched the vehicle driven away.
I watched the vehicle drive away.
And I watched his head, the back of his head, get smaller and smaller and smaller, and then he was gone.
Then he was gone
And then
as his
suddenly I
head
was
got
back
smaller
inside
and
my car,
smaller,
and I can't
and
remember,
that
came
car
back into the car, and I was crying, the tears
further
were
and
pouring down
further
my face.
and farther.
And
I was
eventually
gonna have a
somebody
different
tapped the
life
window,
ahead
and I
than
looked over, and it was the guard from the gate. And he said to me, "Are you all right, man?" And I nodded.
Are you all right?
Yes. And he said, "Good, because if you are, you need to move your car for another." And it was my wake-up call that there wasn't.
It was my wake-up call.
For me. And
If you're all right, you need to
I
trade
was
your
sitting
car
in
in
a BMW
for
at the
another.
time. But there wouldn't
That
have been
was a
less
message
sympathy.
coming
And
from
that day began
the brother.
to be an absolute nightmare. And
Big
I was
brother.
soon to find out that the properties would be taken. I
Big
did that stage, I didn't
brother.
know they would be. I hadn't been told that he'd put this in the plea agreement.
Do you share a role in it, though? I mean, do you share a role in it? Because I really appreciated the line that you expressed in the tape where you said you were seduced. I think that's a really good choice of words. You were seduced by all of the wealth and seduced by this lifestyle.
I was.
It's intoxicating.
It is intoxicating, and money is very seductive, and that lifestyle is very seductive. And yes, I was absolutely seduced. The part that I played was obviously not anything to do with the crime. I had no idea the crime was being committed. My part in retrospect, and I didn't appreciate this at the time, it took some time to self-reflect, but my part in retrospect was that I had some culpability in expecting this lifestyle, in wanting this big lifestyle, in expecting that the bills would be paid, in giving up my financial independence. I did that without thinking about it.
Yeah, would you say the same thing, Barbara?
To a degree, yeah.
To a degree.
It was a different situation.
Yeah, different situations, I know, but I'm talking about in sort of accepting that someone else is going to take care of things. Yes, you talk about that in perfection. Yes.
It was very easy for me to give that up because I was, at the time he began to bring in very big dollars, I began having children. So it coincided with my wanting to spend time with the children, and I had one, two, three one after another.
Yeah.
So it coincided with motherhood too.
So I think the message in all of this is also what you're talking about, and that is, even though you have, and if you're fortunate enough to be taken care of, and you have, you know, the loveliest of surroundings, and you have access, you should not surrender your own sense of self-worth and independence.
Absolutely.
Even though you don't have to work.
Yes.
You shouldn't just give all of that up.
Don't hold on to it. That's the lesson I learned. And in working, it also validates you. It gives you confidence and it validates your talents and your skills, whatever they may be. And I lost that too.
We'll be right back. Coming up, Karen's husband is released from prison and she takes him back. We'll talk about that next.
Do you love your smile? With dental implants you can. It's time to regain your confidence and start eating the food you love. At East Coast Dental Center, our focus is on dental implants as a solution for dentures and missing teeth. Our friendly and knowledgeable team will make sure your visit is comfortable.
A song by Paul Beckman, Palu Rainbow Song, created March 22nd, 2010. The song is going to be called She Takes Him Back. Does she? Using guitar chords A7, D, D minor, and A. She takes him back, she takes him back. Well, does she? She takes him back, she takes him back. Well, does she really? Well, if a person really loves you, then they will. If they think there is some hope for you, then still. Well, isn't he the man who ripped off America with his scam so the banks all started to fail? Yeah. Greed over larceny, greed, greed, greed. The tale of any telltale sign. Something's wrong in America, the telltale signs. Something's wrong in America. Greed, 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 gone to so many executives and presidents of big companies. Almost took apart America by its roots. Almost stole its soup. Put it in a soup, now economic failing. It had to try to come to terms with it, and it was ailing. Did some spending things by the government, helped put it back on track again, but it got wet. Had a close one, because all those things by those executives. Well, she was married to the most infamous one. How did she get it to all become undone? He went to prison, now he's out, or he's out on bail. She took him back, so I hear. Well, we're gonna see the tale.
Take him back romantically, but I allowed him to come back to the family home when he came out of prison. This was 3.5 years after he'd been incarcerated. At the time when I took him to prison, I was so full of anger that whenever he phoned from the prison, I wouldn't let him get a word in edgewise. I was screaming at him, how could you do this to your family? How could you do this to your children? And